Hello. In this video, I'm going to show you an assessment model of innovation competence together with the solution so that you will be able to apply the assessment tools to two people you know. In other words, with this model, you'll be able to see the different stages you have to go through and what you have to do on the platform. The first thing you have to do is go to the platform, then to the case study, and then to the appropriate page. The case study is in session 3, so we'll go there now. So this is a case study of how to assess the innovation competence of other people. Imagine that you work for a company and that this task forms part of the standard annual performance assessment of all employees. It is your responsibility to carry it out. So now we're going to complete each of the steps in order. There are 4 of them. The first step is simply to select the 2 people or subjects whose innovation competence you are going to assess, while the second is to carry out the assessment. When you have done that, you will automatically receive by email a code for each of your subjects, and you will need to enter this code in the edX platform. I'll tell you how to do that later. Finally, you'll need to compare the 2 assessments you have and comment on their similarities and differences. This is an open-ended activity, and you'll evaluate your own performance using the rubric I've given you. So let's go through the model example step by step. These are the descriptions of the 2 people I'm going to assess. When you do this, you'll need to choose 2 other people, and ideally one will have a high degree of innovation competence, while the other will have much less. The bigger the difference, the better, because that will enable you to see these differences more clearly, and thus be able to compare and analyze them more easily. The 2 subjects in my example are real people. I work with both of them, but obviously I've changed their names. The one I've called Anna is much more innovative than the one called Yolanda. So the first step is to carry out the assessments of these 2. To do that, follow the links in the course webpage, and don't forget that there is one link for the more innovative subject and another link for the less innovative subject. Don't use the same link for both, and don't mix them up, otherwise you'll have problems when you come to enter the verification codes. This is what you'll receive by email. It's the result, or part of the result, of the assessments for Anna, and this is for Yolanda. Here, in the upper part, you can see that each has a code. These codes are specific to each activity, so make sure you always use the correct code. Otherwise, you won't be able to complete the task properly. You need to enter these codes in order to show that you have carried out the assessments. You enter here the number which you received by email. You only need to copy and paste, and then you click on send, and you'll get a mark for this part of the activity. And now we've completed the first 3 steps. The 4th step has 2 parts. The first is to compare your 2 subjects and give a mark to the comparison you have made. To do this, you need the details contained in the email you received, as well as the data in these 2 columns, plus the average of the sample for both subjects. I put these in Excel or another spreadsheet, and then I've generated a radar chart which enables me to see the differences more easily than just using the tables. This is a personal preference of mine. If you want to use the tables, you may do so. So here in blue we can see Yolanda's profile, while this one is Anna's. Anna is a very innovative person, very involved in the company, always looking to improve. She can work on her own initiative, integrates well in teams, and builds good interpersonal relationships inside and outside the company. Yolanda, on the other hand, is very bad at managing her time, fails to keep appointments, which creates conflicts with her team members. She doesn't prepare activities beforehand, she doesn't keep many notes, she often loses those she does keep, and then doesn't remember what she is supposed to do. Nor is she very focused on group tasks. Sometimes she gives many ideas, but usually these ideas have nothing to do with the task or project in hand, so they are not very useful. Having said that, Yolanda is also very friendly, very sociable and extrovert, although rather chaotic. And her social skills enable her to have good relationships with people, at least initially, until her chaotic way of working takes over. These characteristics of Yolanda's, which I've described in the comments, I can see reflected and reinforced in the assessment. So, summarizing, first, I've compared my two individuals, which is what you have here in the model, where I describe each one's behavior, and look at how this is reflected in the assessment profile. I've also made some observations about what I think they would do best, or about how they might improve some of their competencies. In Anna's case, for example, she needs to be involved in stimulating and challenging projects where she can develop and improve her already excellent organizational abilities and innovation competence. In the case of Yolanda, on the other hand, what she should probably do is use and reinforce her best qualities, which are public relations, but help and support her to be much more organized and to not make promises to clients she can't keep, so that once she has established relations with a company, these can be maintained and trust developed. At the end, I evaluate whether these descriptions are useful, detailed and complete, or whether they are incomplete and provide little information. Here, you will indicate the mark which corresponds to the description. In this case, it is the highest mark. When you send this, your mark will appear in the progress bar. There are still more activities to be completed, but I think that you now know what you need to do in the case study. That is, what you need to do in each of the 4 steps. You've seen how I've done it, and you've seen my possible solutions. Obviously, your descriptions and possible solutions will be completely different, as you will be assessing different subjects.